All right. Hello, Patreon gang. We're back for another special Patreon.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
He's so crazy, isn't he, guys?
It's very toxic.
We're back for another Patreon special episode. We've just done about 3 sessions. Manny's gone home. I'm in the studio with Pedro, Eman, and Vish. So we like to have these serious conversations every now and again, and the time has come back round for another one. Today, I want to touch on some work that we've been doing with Class 13. Class 13 are a company that do work in schools and tackle certain societal issues in schools that marginalize children. So go check out their work, Class 13. We recently dropped 2 animations with them. So yeah, go check them out. They're funny stories about school stuff, but they're also real issues that people like us might have faced when being in school. So that brings me on to the conversation today. I wanted to speak about school, and I wanted to speak about not just our experience, but I actually wanted to speak about something that we're probably closer to now, which is our children going to schools. So the first question I have for you guys is, how would you pick your child's primary school? Like, what kind of things would you be looking out for?
A few things. I think it's hard, because as you get older, there's so many things that you actually consider. Because number one is, I feel like you have to live within a certain distance, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Or maybe have a sibling in the school. Obviously, you can get favors here and there. I think for me, it being multicultural is a big thing. But I think the reality of the situation is, as we move further out of London, I feel like it becomes more difficult. And in certain areas in like Essex or whatever, it's predominantly white, I would say.
Don't you think that's changing though? I feel like this day and age it's becoming less.
No, 'cause my sister, for example, lives in Tilbury, and my nephew's school is.
Yeah, but I feel like it's
kind of
slightly,
we're all moving together.
Yeah,
sort of thing,
moving
like,
together.
yeah.
Like,
Like
everyone's moving out.
There's way more like black people in like Haven and Dagenham now than there was when we were in college.
That's
school,
true.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't know, to be honest. But I feel like, to be fair, in the next 5 years there will be more. Yeah, so I think for me, it being multicultural is a very big thing. Like, I want my child to understand about culture and having having a diverse mind.
Yeah.
You learn a lot from other people of different cultures, and that, I think, that kind of shapes you as you grow older to understanding different things in regards to different people.
And is this?
Yeah.
Did you say nursery or primary school?
Primary school, yeah. But normally nurseries are attached to primary school sometimes. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, with nursery, is that an issue then, in terms of it being less?
I think less so, because nursery, they're there for a lot less time. They're there for a lot less time. So I do think people think about what nurseries they can pick, but I don't think the places are readily available. I don't think there's a lot of choice. Primary school, obviously I used to work in primary school, so primary school has always been a big thing, like how people are choosing the primary school. In the primary school I worked in, we had open days. Like, we had literally open days.
Crazy.
And parents would go to like bare different open days.
Yeah.
You're right, like, it is about a catchment area and siblings and ties to the school. But nowadays, like, parents are shopping around for thing. That's why these schools have their Ofsted stuff on the front of the school, because they're trying to basically sell themselves and fill up their like places.
I guess I share the same sentiment as Pedro. Yeah, like you said, sometimes you tend to have to take a kid to a school that's nearby, so you might not really have a choice from that perspective. But my preference would be for them to go to a diverse school where there's a mix of black, Asian, white kids, instead of just going somewhere which is predominantly one race. But
can you see grades? You can't see grades in primary school.
No, but you can see
They
Ofsted.
don't really do exams, do they?
Yeah, I think you
they
can
do
see
stats?
you can see
I
like
think you do stats. I think they took that
general
away,
grades.
though,
Yeah,
They took away
stats.
stats. My
Yeah.
nephew's doing that.
There's no stats, but you can see things like, I think that it's probably like pass rates or stuff like that, or like whatever the grading system is now, like a rate of this, because they definitely have to report all of that stuff to somewhere, so you could probably get that information, and that will be tied into an Ofsted report, but that might be a bit old. It's not going to be like last year's results. Or
Yeah.
What I don't know is how much influence primary school has on them in secondary school. Like, I feel like secondary school is the main point where, like, depending on what secondary school they go to, could influence their life, change their life, shape them,
Shapes them up.
change their life decisions. But I feel like primary school, when I was in primary school, like a lot of stuff happened, but does it really impact
Did it
you?
really impact you?
It might do. I don't know.
When you say a lot of stuff, what do you mean?
Like criminal activity, fights,
Oh.
and so forth. Like that happened from primary school.
Is
For
it?
sure. I'm thinking year 5, year 6, 100% stuff like
Yeah,
that happened.
yeah.
Like people were getting expelled, all of that. So, yeah, it's a hard one. I don't know if you are shaped in primary school or if it starts in secondary school.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of
It will have an impact, definitely. I think it definitely will have an impact. Like if you're seeing certain things at 10, because kids are, they know a lot more than we did.
Yeah.
Now because they're exposed to so much on the internet.
Yeah.
So I think if they were seeing stuff like that from 10, I think they're more advanced than we were. If they are seeing stuff like that at such a young age, it could impact them more so than it did us. And obviously every child is different. Like you might just have been fortunate to the point that it didn't actually affect you because, you know, you're strong-minded or whatever. But yeah, in an ideal world, you definitely don't want your kids being exposed to that. But at the same time, like sometimes that helps with like, I think something that's very important is yes, you want your kids to be academically smart, but you also very much want them to be street smart.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very big
But
thing.
what's more important to you? Them being academically smart, so going to a school where they're more likely to get good grades? or going to a
Academically
school
smart
that's-
is more important, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd rather them go to a school, let's just say it's 99% Caucasian, and she's like, or he or she is like the odd black person in that school, but you know the grades, they always get high grades and whatnot. Or it's a mixed school where you don't know what grades they're going to get. It's like average. If you average it out, most people get, I don't know what the grading system is no more. Is that level 8 or something? Or
Yes, numbers.
numbers.
GCSE is up to 9, yeah.
not up to 9, yeah. So would you rather that situation?
That's a hard one.
One. I think yeah, academics. I think street smarts or social intelligence, I guess, is what we're talking about when we speak about street smarts. I think that's more important in the grand scheme of life. But I think with the way life is set up, yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize this. To get the opportunity to be socially intelligent or to get more intelligent socially, you have to be academically intelligent.
Yeah.
Like if you think about the spaces where you grow your social intelligence, it's like, it might be college, it might be university. University is such a complex social space. So to get to university, it's like you have to be a certain level academically.
Yeah.
Then the people that get to university now are allowed to excel or learn a lot more socially because they've gotten to university. So my answer is going to be, early on, I would do everything to prioritize academic intelligence. Not saying that I'll neglect social intelligence, but I prioritize academic intelligence. Then when it starts getting to like uni, that's when I'll say, actually, yeah, like focus on the social intelligence. Because I actually think in the outside world, like when you get into work and stuff, I actually think, yeah, social intelligence is way more important than academic intelligence. There are some jobs where it's like, actually, yeah, you need to be smart and problem solve and stuff. But for most jobs, it's navigation. It's navigating the space socially and just knowing how to behave. So yeah, I would prioritize academics early, social intelligence.
But you're saying you switch it around as they get older.
Yes, yeah.
And in uni, but let's say the top 2 universities, they're likely to be predominantly white. There's still going to be black people in there.
Yeah.
Say they get into those 2 universities, but then they get into
I know the top 2.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just not saying them.
Oxford and LSE,
I'm just not saying them.
No, go ahead.
And say they get into, I don't know, Essex University. Are you pushing them towards Essex?
No. See, that's a wide gap. And the maddest thing is, I do think places like Cambridge, Oxbridge, are very complex social spaces where you learn a lot. But I don't think they allow, at this moment in time, I don't think they allow black people to excel in the way that an Essex was. Essex is like, you're going to be around bare people. You're going to be around people that you're going to be around outside of university.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more concerned with. If you're a black person going to Oxbridge, then you spend most of your time around predominantly older white people.
Yeah.
That those aren't going to be the people that you're necessarily around when you get into the working world, or like when you're around family and friends, if you're the kind of person that chooses to stick with your own kind. So actually Essex is probably better for the social intelligence side, but the gap in trajectory work-wise with an Essex compared to a Cambridge is very different.
Yeah.
If you lower it, if we're not talking about Oxbridge, then maybe like I would tell them to pick Essex over I don't know, like maybe like a Loughborough where it doesn't matter so much, or like a Leicester. Yeah, like Leicester's a better university, but it really isn't gonna. But to be honest, Leicester's kind of a bit Essexy anyway, so it's closer socially to Essex anyway. So it'll be hard.
I was gonna say, but do they need that social? Can't they learn that social intelligence outside of uni or outside of school? Why does it need to be built in school, in those environments?
But I think everything is trajectory. To me, anyway. To me, everything is trajectory. That's why when you were saying what you said about primary school, I think your personality and what you're gonna be is molded in primary school.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna be a creative person, your creativity will come out in primary school. Then you'll start secondary school, and then you can decide to follow the trajectory or not. But if you don't have, I feel like your core, that's what I'm trying to say, your core is built in primary school. I think by secondary school, your core is built. If you're going to be a disruptful child, that core is going to be there. Not saying you can't change yourself, but I think that core, and I think it's so hard to change your core. Like you have to do so much. I think that's built in primary school for me.
I think it's primary. I don't know. I feel like primary school's too early.
Yeah, I thought secondary school.
I feel like your behaviour can switch completely from primary school to secondary school.
I think in the majority of cases that's true, but there was a lot of people who in secondary school, they hung around with certain people and they just changed.
They flipped up.
I do feel
People changed a lot in secondary school.
And you go through puberty in at that time, so
like
stuff changes.
Or things happen, and then that impacts the way that you maneuver.
Yeah.
But I do think in most cases, the way you are who you are. I think the majority of things are intrinsic. That's just how this child is going to be.
Yeah. That's a good question for you, man. Do you feel like you have? Is there any personality trait that you feel like you have that you had when you was a kid?
Yeah. I've been a nuisance since I was a child.
Like mischievous, like.
Yeah, you think you still have? You think you
still
was
like,
that?
no, yeah. Like,
I feel the same about that same word as well. Like,
but I think I was well behaved in primary school, but when I got to secondary school, maybe because of what I was exposed to, that's when my behaviour changed quite a bit.
Would you say now? Would you see yourself and see you're a naughty man, a naughty human being?
No,
Yo, it's Manny from Past the Meerkat. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.